Greetings and salutations one and all. Welcome to a brand new week right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. How you doing? I want to say big ups to those who are locked in from across the pond. One Harmony Radio on TuneIn. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Those on WGLR, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets. We know them as the People Station, touching every point from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Big ups to those on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Catch Clinton from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. Big ups to those on PEMGTV.com. Those on Island Worldwide out of New York City. Big ups to the Island Worldwide Massive. I know y'all kinda chilling out there. Literally.
What is this thing where you're fighting a brother for no reason?
I wanna say big up to those on PEMGTV.com. And of course right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. KevinStew.com. So glad to have you, couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. Kicking us off tonight with the sound of Voice. Or the Voice of Voice. Your choice. It's called Honest Dollar.
What is this thing where you're fighting a brother for no reason? You're just fighting a brother. Soon as he make progress, you get vexed. Say you want to clip wing and stifle a brother. Now you never give that food, so I don't know the fish. So why must I lose for you to win? With all due respect, Reggie, let me say, whoa. It's all for all of it. It's all for all of it. Real for all of it. Love for all of it. Real for all of it. Big man thing if you're talking love, live that. And if you're preaching peace, live that. Honest that I'm making. Why you don't want to make it? You're talking love, live that. You're preaching peace, live that. Honest that I'm making. Why you don't want to make it? You want sign but you can't see. You got picture, na na na. No followers but you can't read. Your mask don't matter, na na na. Just work hard and live good, yeah. Let you work hard, na na. And do good, just do good. Say what you blame, boy. Once coming up doing the same, boy. I'm afraid to go against the green, boy. Tell me how it will change, boy. Why everything is a competition? Why we can't be on one mission? I want them hear the words of the song. Words of the song. It's all for all of it. Real for all
for all of you, you know.
Big man thing if you're talking love, live that. And if you're preaching peace, live that. Honest that.
Talking love.
Why you don't want to make it? You're talking love, live that. You're
preaching peace.
Honest that.
I don't know which kind of peace. Any peace. Specifically P-E-A-C-E. What is it? Big up to those who are locked in on Facebook Live. Most of you know it as Facebook Live. Those of you just joining in, this is the sound of voice. Let me just take care of some formalities before we get into the business of the broadcast. I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. Providing innovative streaming and recording solutions when being in a moment is priceless. They allow you to do everything that you see right here on kevinstew.com and more. You can stream your event live, church service, wedding, party, funeral, you name it. If you want to take it a step further and have your own internet broadcasting TV station, they can hook you up with that too. Give them a call, 754-999-6020, or check them out on pulseemg.com. I want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you, operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She brings her table, she brings her oils, 20 years of experience, and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Congratulations to Althea for recently acquiring a certification in personal training. Yeah, looking forward to you putting that out there. That service, getting that service already out there. And those of you ready for your massage therapy though, make sure you link her up. 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. Or email her at Thealater, THEALATER @att.net. I want to say thanks to Reggae Global Entertainment, providing booking agent services, tour management, copyrights, publishing, biographies, business registration, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call at 954-998-8034 or link them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Thank you to GMAT Music Solutions. They bring your event to life, providing sound, light and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622. Or check them out at gmatmusicsolutions.com. big man thing right here. On the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. It's Community and Finance Night.
Change, boy. Why everything is a competition? Nobody can be on one mission. I want them hear the words of the song. Words of the song. It's all for all of it. Round for all of it. Now for all of it. Round for all of it. Big man thing if you're talking love. If that, and if you're preaching.
Trying to connect to the man of the moment. In the meantime, in between time, the sound of voice. A track called Honest Dollar.
It's all for all of it. Round for all of it. Love for all of it. Round for all of it. Big man thing if you're talking love. If that, and if you're preaching peace. If that, honest dollar make it. Why you don't want to make it? You're talking love. If that, you're preaching peace.
Greetings, Marcia D. How you doing?
Just work hard and live good, yeah.
I want to say big ups to those who are locked in the stew pot right now, simmering down and bubbling up. For those of you who are new to this, don't know what the stew pot is, it's what others call a chat room, because we're fancy over here on kevinstew.com. We call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. Just go to kevinstew.com and you are there. You don't have to worry about signing up for anything. You don't have to give your name. You can remain anonymous if you choose.
Tell me how it will change, boy. Why everything is a competition? Nobody can be on one mission. I want them hear the words of the song. Words of the song. It's all for all of it.
Those of you on Facebook Live, it's only temporary, so don't get too comfortable. Bless up, Bobby. Happy New Year.
Big man thing if you're talking love. If that, and if you're preaching peace.
How's the weather? Is it warm enough for you? I know in your neck of the woods it can get kind of chilly, you know. You stay. There's still space in South Florida, no, Bobby.
Too good, just too good. Say what you blame, boy. The one's coming up.
I must probably be in the only place in the continental United States right now that is warm.
Why everything is a competition?
Anywhere south of Florida
I want them hear the words of the song.
requires layers of clothing.
Down for all of it. Down for all of it. Now from for all of it. Down for all of it. Big man thing if you're talking love, give that. And if you're preaching peace, live that. Honest that I'm making. Why you don't want to make it? You're talking love, give that.
Alright, so big man thing. What is this craziness that happened in the capital of the United States? Please, somebody explain it to me. Guys, you know, I don't get it. I don't get it. Alright, so as I wait for my co-host for the evening to connect, I am confused, and I've been waiting for an answer. All right, so basically what we have already been told is what we already know is what happened in the nation's capital, where the the Senate was breached and rioters pretty much just stormed the building, the Capitol building. Now, there are some people that got in trouble, and I'm yet to understand why only a few people got in trouble. One. Two, how these people got as far as they did. And I know you've heard all kind of news media and new media houses talking about it, comparing it to the summer. First of all, if there's one thing that we can all agree on, is that the system is not broken. Okay, so if we don't all agree on it, we probably should all agree on it. The system isn't broken. The system is operating just the way it was designed to operate. Now, there are some that can argue that. There are some that would say, you know, what we're trying to do now, or what we are praying will happen now, is that the system becomes more inclusive. Yeah? Because as it is right now, if it was a group, and I don't even have to hesitate to say this, I'm not taking it back when I say it. If it was a group of black and brown people that had done what all these white people did last week, there would have been a news report going very differently. You wouldn't hear the FBI is requesting your help in seeking out this person of interest. I really don't believe so. Why? Because if the police can raid someone's house and shoot the owner in their bed and say, oh, we had a no-knock order, we had a no-knock warrant, so we came in and then there was a shootout, and get off, kill somebody, get off. Then they can find this person that they're looking for, this person of interest. Everybody has either a social media or know somebody that have social media. So even if you don't have a social media account, someone in your house probably does. So chances are you very well may end up in someone's picture somewhere. You want to tell me, with all the resources that this great nation has at their disposal, that they can't find this guy? I saw something where it was said that back in, what was it, 1863? When was it that Lincoln was made president? Back then, there was riot. Yeah, there was rioting. So this whole concept, this whole talk about this is not America, this is not how Americans behave, check that. Throughout history, you check American history, you check the text, you check the pictures, it is riddled with violence and bloodshed. So it's pretty much the American way. If you want recognition from something, if you want to people to be heard, to be recognized, to be seen, you have to do something drastic. Yeah, Bobby, it would have been bloodshed in DC with nobody getting bail if it was a group of another hue. But it is not. So here we are today, getting news reports of talk of impeachment, getting reports of talks of amendment, the 25th Amendment, hearing now today that weeks after getting the appointment, where's that? Let me find this article. So, acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf resigns as tension grows. Wolf, who did not specifically cite the Capitol riots in his explanation for leaving, issued a strong statement last week commending the riots. Condemning the riots. I need to slow down and not change these people's articles. So, according to NBC News, acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf became the last cabinet official to step down following last week's deadly riot in the U.S. Capitol. So, now it is called a deadly riot. And one of the things we need to take note of is some of the words that are used in these reports. You'll see headlines like chaos in the Capitol. And you hear statements, words tossed into statements and reports like deadly riot. Now, when you think deadly riot, when I think deadly riot, I think of dogs, water cannons, even more recently, BLM marching and this young man from a neighboring state coming into their protest, shooting people, walking away, stopped by the police and sent on his way, only to be arrested in his home without incident a day later. The deadly part is the amount of people that he shot, the amount of people that died. That's the deadly part. This, how many people, 4 people, I believe, died. No, not to say that all lives don't matter. Not to say that 4 is probably 4 too many, but in a situation like this, you're storming a federal building with weapons. There was a woman, a black woman, who made a wrong turn by the White House. And she was shot to death. So, trespassing on federal territory, on federal grounds, then you run the risk of ending up dead. So this woman just made an illegal turn, or a wrong turn, whichever it is. She wasn't a threat. But you have all these people storming this building, this federal building, and how many of them actually died? But it's not the first time. Because the same thing happened in Wisconsin, was it? Oregon? One of those places. And these individuals, this militia group, but considered to be citizens expressing themselves, doing what they have a right to do, to protest. And they stormed a federal building. So much so, they could be up in the faces of law enforcement officers, shouting all kind of derogatory slurs with weapons. And they just turned around and walked home. So, one of the questions that I've been asking, there's everybody talking about civil unrest and okay, you are storming this building, this federal building, for what? When a group of you are just going to storm this building, take out the Senate podium, damage federal property. Storming the building alone is damaging the property, but the paintings on the walls, for what? Why are you doing it? Just because you can? Just because the person that you were voting for didn't win? Listen, this country has been stealing elections forever. Can I tell you? Dirty politics, dirty elections have been around, and it doesn't happen only in the United States. But this behavior here. So, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf resigned. Unfortunately, this action is warranted by recent events, including the ongoing and meritless court rulings regarding the validity of my authority as acting secretary. Wolf wrote in a letter to staff members obtained by NBC News. The events and concerns increasingly serve to divert attention and resources away from the important work of the department in this critical time of transition of power. Wolf said his resignation would become effective at midnight. Peter Gaynor, administrator of Federal Emergency Management Agency, will take over as acting secretary. The mob attack in Washington, as Congress was affirming President-elect Joe Biden's win, resulted in the deaths of 5 people, my bad, not 4, including a Capitol Police officer. Several other cabinet officials have already resigned, including Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, who both cited President Donald Trump's role in egging on rioters. Wolf, who did not specifically cite the riots in explaining his decision to leave, issued a strong statement Thursday condemning the rioters. What transpired yesterday was tragic and sickening, he said. While I have consistently condemned political violence on both sides of the aisle, specifically violence directed at law enforcement, we now see some supporters of the president using violence as a means to to achieve political ends. This is unacceptable. These violent actions are unconscionable. And I implore the president and all elected officials to strongly condemn the violence that took place yesterday. The White House announced last week that it was withdrawing Wolf's nomination to be permanent secretary shortly after his statements critical of Trump. Well, I'd be criticizing Trump too. Threats of further unrest tied to Biden's swearing in next week are causing alarm. A senior law enforcement official said the FBI sent a memo to law enforcement agencies across the country warning of possible armed protests at all 50 state capitals and in Washington starting Saturday. All right. So, let me ask this. If people who are law-abiding citizens happen to be weapon carrying or registered and licensed weapon carrying citizens, and some of these rioters roll upon them, how does it go in the end? So all my law pundits, I am asking you to help me out here, because I need some answers. Do I need to go get a thing and defend my thing, or am I okay just being, walking the streets as normal? But here's what we already know though. For people of color, there's no such thing as just walking the streets as normal, especially in the last 4 years. Because there are some people that feel they have a right to take certain liberties. So then, where do we end up? Going into 2021 with civil unrest, whether small scale or large scale, it don't really matter. Talks of it being on the news, and the news houses and politicians defending the United States, saying this is not who we are. The mere fact that you have to be constantly saying it, come on. This is who we are. And I can say we myself because I am living here. And if I need to take a position defending a certain belief, I'm going to do it also. Now, am I going to take up arms in doing it? No, that's a different thing. Because my life, it's way too precious. I have children to live for. So when you're going to defend an individual or a cause that does not know your name, more so an individual, because the cause will help to probably better your life and the life of those that you love, your children and their children. But someone's name, an individual, defending an individual that does not even know your name or even care to, that is where we have problems. So we're going to talk some more. Those of you on, hey Katie, how you doing? Big ups to Katie's Closet. Those of you on Facebook Live, jump on over to kevinstew.com. We're going to take a break. This is where I'm going to say sayonara to you guys over there on FB Live. Call a friend, tell an enemy, tell them. Tell the friends of your enemies and enemies of your friends. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, Community and Finance Night. And we're looking at having a law-abiding 2021. How are we going to get to that point? Really? What do we need to do? I'm supposed to have a guest with me tonight. I haven't been able to connect with him. Well, I guess I'll find out what's going on with that and see how we can move past that happening. But, we're talking about a police officer. So anything can call him into action. And he has responsibilities. Those of you, some of you might remember, he was supposed to be on last month, just so that you don't go off the handles and say, boy, the same thing happened. No, there was a security breach that caused him to not be able to contact us. Yeah, a cybersecurity breach. So people are out there doing things, and when we get a chance to speak with law enforcement officers and representatives, we need to cherish those moments because they're important. They're precious. Comment here in the stew pot before I jump off and take a break. I think you might be going at this wrong. These people, though, they were brave, or they thought they were brave and doing something patriotic. Okay, cool. So they believe that they were standing up for justice. And they believe in doing so they need to bear arms because they have the right to bear arms. Well, them should wear short sleeve shirts. Or sleeveless shirts. Them can bear the whole arm. But this here, storming the Capitol building, people of color have to have placards and have peaceful protests marching down streets and can't burn anything, can't break anything, because then they get shot. And now you have a whole group of white people destroying the Senate building, the state capitol, the Capitol building. Talk to me. How that work? 773-789 studio number to get you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, call. When we come back, you have all of those available to you. KevinStew.com, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, where we are encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. Enlighten me so I can accept this foolishness. I don't have to agree with it, but at least I'll accept where you're coming from, if I'm enlightened. So, let's talk about it. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, talk some more. Facebook Live, deuces to you. Y'all take care.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about PALACE, Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This non-profit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, PALACE has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or $415,000 US.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Imagine having our own Caribbean Center.
Imagine a museum highlighting our history and the contributions of Caribbean people to the world.
Imagine being able to visit and learn about the islands we call home
In a place where our kids can see and feel their cultural heritage. You can make this vision come to life.
Help us create this first of its kind space
that all Caribbean people can be proud of. Your contribution to Island Space Caribbean Museum will help this dream come true.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe and donate today.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
It's been a long time coming. Are you ever gonna change? Are you ever gonna to take advice for how I'm feeling? It's been a long time running, and I know you wanna stay. So I think that it is time we live like we used to. Right all around the city singing with the top down. Let's take it back to when we were younger. It's been a long time coming, so put on a happy face. Grab my hand so we can let all of our troubles out. There's no cares tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when it's dark, never will lie. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Whoa, whoa. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Oh, now you're so crazy. Oh, I'm crazy too. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Baby, don't you worry, 'cause you know I understand what it's like to be chewed up and spit out in the cold world. Baby, there's no hurry, as long as you take my hand. We can dance and I won't be the one to let you go. There's no care tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when it's dark, never will lie. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Oh, right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Oh, now you're so crazy.
Welcome back to the broadcast.
Oh, I'm crazy too. Right in the moment
Those of you just joining in,
confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you.
it's called Community and Finance right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
There's no care
Tonight we're looking at kicking off the week, the year,
me for a
being law-abiding citizens. And there seems to be some sort of disconnect where it comes to expressing self and abiding by the law. In the background, the sound of Royce out of the West Coast. The track is called Madness. You can pretty much call what is going on right now madness, you know, and you don't have to be remorseful about calling it that at all. One of the things Bobby said in the stew pot as we took a break was, you know, people do this false equivalency between BLM and this rioting that took place last week at the state capitol. All right. Here is what I will use as comparison. The law enforcement that was present, that is what I am comparing. I am comparing how law enforcement treated these individuals who had a right to have their voices heard. Even if it's just the voices in their head that they're trying to get heard, they have a right to have the voices heard. Right? Cool. So, there were not any armed officers with riot gear, any dogs, none of that. You kind of wonder where a place like this exists with the kind of security that is in and around the nation's capital. At the Capitol building, how is it that more security weren't called to action? In that they weren't using force to disperse the crowd. Even rubber bullets. So yeah, 5 people died. I think that is an extremely low number for the craziness that was happening. I really do. And even that officer, that black officer, that the news is saying, you know, he did a heroic thing. He led these rioters away from the House floor, the Senate floor, and to another section of the building where he was met with backup. Okay, cool. You want to tell me he really didn't get an opportunity to squeeze off just one? What about the I don't know how many of you saw the news report where there was a police officer that was being beaten by these rioters. So how'd that go? Not even one? Not even one shot. I tell you this, I am armed. Police officers are not. I am armed and you attack me. You might get to put in one blow. But the mere fact that you attack me and I get to defend myself is going down. I am squeezing off at least one. I may miss. I don't care. At that point, I am being attacked. I need to defend myself. So this crowd of people was coming down on this one police officer who was inside the Capitol building, a federal building. So they gained unlawful entry into the building. They're stepping to this one officer. And he didn't shoot anybody. Okay, cool. Lives are important. If you can come to a peaceful resolve, you know, so much better. If that was a black man stepping to that police officer, it would have been a different situation. Yeah, I'm calling it as I've seen it. That is how I have seen it. So somebody tell me something different. Anybody. 773-789-STEW. Once again. 773-789-7839. The Democrats, the House Democrats, plan to vote on Wednesday to impeach Trump. Wednesday the 13th of January. And according to CNN, the report goes something like this. House Democrats plan to vote Wednesday to impeach President Donald Trump. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer told Democrats on a caucus call Monday, setting up an impeachment vote 1 week after rioters incited by Trump overran Capitol Police and breached some of the most secure areas of the U.S. Capitol. They overran Capitol Police. You know how crazy that sounds? The mere fact that one of the leading news agencies in the United States and often viewed all over the world, CNN, they're going to say, yo, listen, rioters overran Capitol Police and breached some of the most secure areas of the U.S. Capitol. That is not something you, in modern times have seen or heard about happening in the U.S. But again, check the history. There are people rolling through on these federal grounds with Confederate flags. There was one thing that I saw. I don't remember if it was an article or it was a meme. I think it was a meme where it said, Trump said he was going to make America great again. And apparently he did it. Some craziness like that. Because America is again the focus of the world. Ridiculous. The House will vote on Tuesday evening on a resolution urging Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from powers, and then plan to vote Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the impeachment resolution. Democrats formally introduced their impeachment resolution Monday, charging Trump with incitement of insurrection as they race towards making him the first president in history to be impeached twice. Wednesday's vote underscores Democrats' fury toward Trump and his supporters after months of false rhetoric about the election being stolen whipped the president's most ardent followers into a deadly mob Wednesday that ransacked the Capitol, forced lawmakers to evacuate both the House and the Senate, and could have been worse. Okay, which part of that is where it gets worse? The single impeachment article, which was introduced when the House gavelled into a brief pro forma session on Monday, points to Trump's repeated false claims that he won the election and his speech to the crowd on January 6 before rioters breached the Capitol. It also cited Trump's call with the Georgia Republican Secretary of State where the president urged him to find enough votes for Trump to win the state. Yeah, on a recorded line, you're gonna make these kind of statements. You're that bold, and going to not only there, but you're going to decide, hey, listen, I'm going to pardon myself after all of this craziness because I have that kind of power. No, my friend, you do not. I don't know who is feeding you your information, but you don't, sir. So, in all this, President Trump gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government, the resolution says. He continues to say he threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and imperiled a co-equal branch of government. He thereby betrayed his trust as president to manifest injury of the people of the United States. The resolution, which was introduced by Democrats David Cicilline of Rhode Island, Jamie Raskin of Maryland, and Ted Lieu of California, also cited the Constitution's 14th Amendment, noting that it prohibits any person who has engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States from holding office. Now, this man has been talking crazy from before now. And, why it has been allowed, why people have gone along with it, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. I'm at a loss for words. But that all comes back to asking that same question. These people running up in the state capital, for what? So that they can prove that Trump won the election? That doesn't get him back the seat. That doesn't get him to retain the presidency. So, anything that he was doing, he would have had to have done it prior to this point. He would have had to have done it back in October, late October, in order to prevent the election from happening. Inside this kind of craziness. Because during war times in a nation, the election thing doesn't really happen as we know it, right? So, you want to create mass chaos. You want to do it leading up to the time where you're officially supposed to be out of office. For what? I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the idea that this man wants to have unrest and then vacate the seat to run again 4 years from now. In 4 years from November past, which is November 2024. I don't know. Is it that Americans have such short memory? But then again, it's not just in America, because I see this foolishness in Jamaica too. But I can't recall ever hearing people storming or House of Representatives. I can't recall civilians doing that. Yeah, we might block the road and burn tires and thing, but this? Come on. And if I remember correctly, Jamaica probably falls in that list of asshole countries. Yeah? Remember that list? Yes. Where criminals are the ones that are coming to the United States from the country and doesn't mean the country any better. All the greatest criminals seem to have been born and molded right here in the continental US. Well, if not all of them, most of them. I won't say all. Most of them. Let's give credit where credit is due. A few of them might have been imported. But come on. This craziness here, these are what you would call red, white, and blue-blooded Americans running up in the state capitol with a Confederate flag and all, armed. Seriously? Saying that they demand justice? Saying that they have been wronged? So what has been happening to black people in this country forever? They haven't been wronged? They shouldn't get justice? To the Breonna Taylors of the United States. To them. The Richard Mileses. The Jeremy Busbys. The Julius Joneses. The Rodney Reeds. The Dan Gutierrezes. What happened to them? They don't deserve justice too? Come on, people. Don't they make up the fabric of the United States? This country created, well, not created by, but built by immigrants. Because the only natives to the United States happen to be the Indians, considered to be Native Americans. You notice even the classifications of individuals in this country. You have your African Americans and your Chinese American or your Asian Americans. You have your Indian Americans. You have your Native Americans, and then you have Americans. So who fall in that category of just Americans versus all the rest? Right. So when you have individuals deciding, all right, we're going to storm the nation's capital and we're going to have our voices heard, and if our voices are not heard as per this, then we will plan something all over the United States, in all the major cities, in every state capital. We're going to storm them come January 20 for Inauguration Day. Really? And that is supposed to do what exactly? That is supposed to change the minds of the powers that be and give the presidency back to Donald Trump, who has done absolutely nothing for this country in the past 4 years. Okay, let me not say he hasn't done anything for the country. I won't. I take that back. Give it back to Donald Trump, who has made a mockery of the beloved United States on a global level. They should give it to him. We have one more break. We're going to take it now. When we come back, we wrap this up and we go into a much needed musical therapy. Before I do that, let me address this comment here in the stew pot. He is he's an ignorant idiot. He's a moron, in all caps. He thinks the world revolves around him. He is delusional and has been allowed to do and say what he pleases without any repercussions. That kind of sounds like the description of a spoiled brat. I could be wrong. I'd gladly take correction. But that sounds like the description of a spoiled brat. You see, because he has always had financial resources at his disposal in large quantities. In other words, he has always been among the rich in this country. he has been allowed to say things and do things and get away with it. So much that he got to the highest position of office. And what did he do? Say and do the very same things that he was saying and doing before. He told us who he was. And he got away with it then, and he got away with it in the office. And this is some more craziness that he's doing again. And nobody knows if he'll get away with it or not. Right now it's looking like what? A slap on the wrist at most? In all honesty. What will come of this? When you're going to call a nation to violence, to rioting, to chaos. But I'm going to also ask again. They're running up and doing all of this craziness. For what? What is the aim? Oh, this is a revolution. Okay. What are you revolting against, and what do you want to put in place? I'm not hearing those things coming out in any of these reports. I could be listening for too much. Maybe that's just it. I'm probably listening for too much. But I don't hear those things. He has an entitlement mentality, so he cannot and will not accept anything that makes sense to others. That's a possibility too. Thank you, 644. So I try, like I said, it's the motto. Have acceptance through enlightenment. I am yet to be enlightened. And I need some enlightenment so that I can, at least say, okay, this is what this is all about, and this is what they're trying to do. I don't agree with it, but cool, I get it. I don't get it. Not any of this. So, if anybody can explain it to me, please, call me, text me, WhatsApp me. And when we come back from the break, I'll give you the information again, alright? We'll be right back.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
Silence no work no more. Where are the leaders that guided us before? Yo, this is Christina. Listen, I want to big up DJ Kevin Stew. Yo, always playing the best. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you always stay current with DJ Kevin Stew. Enough love. Freedom fighters. Where are the freedom fighters?
Word. Soul. We are the change people.
Silence no word no more. Where are the leaders that guided us before? Who is going to open the door? Without them it seems like our future is not secure. Evil wins when good men sit still. Action is what we need, yeah. Rise up again, freedom fighters. Freedom fighters. Where are the freedom fighters? Stray by the teachings of today. Can't find a way, Malcolm X teaching gone to waste. That's the price we pay when we island every day. We need to set a better way for the youth. Wisdom is knowledge and knowledge is true. Well, start help the youth and stop thinking about yourself. Evil wins when the righteous stand still. Action is what we need. Freedom fighters. Where are the freedom fighters? Moral leaders. Where have you all gone? Need some heroes. Where are all our heroes? Freedom fighters. Where have you all gone? Silence no word no more. Where are the leaders that guided us before? Who is going to open the door? Without them it seems like our future is not secure. Evil wins when good men sit still. Action is what we need. Rise up again. Freedom fighters. Where are the freedom fighters? Moral leaders. Where have you all gone? Need some heroes. Where are all our heroes? Freedom fighters. Where have you all gone? Freedom fighters. Where are you? Freedom fighters. Freedom fighters. Where are you? Freedom fighters. Freedom fighters.
Freedom fighters, where have you gone? The son of Christina Alicia. Where are they?
Freedom fighters. Freedom fighters. Where are my leaders? Where have they all gone? Like Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, and Gandhi. Freedom fighters. Freedom fighters.
We need money.
Where are you, freedom fighters?
Ronnie Lakshmi
Freedom fighters, where are you? What do freedom fighters look like these days anyway? And I guess you have to ask the other question. Are these freedom fighters law-abiding citizens? Or do you need to break the law in order to make a statement? So, CNN article goes on to say House Republicans are urging Democrats not to pursue impeachment, arguing such a move would be divisive. Say what now? Their move to impeach would be divisive. So, when as the leader of a country who has lost out on their leadership by way of election, general election, is going to say publicly, you need to march up in this place and I will be there with you. However, he was not. And these people go ahead and do this. And he still has not yet showed up. But yet still they talk about doing some more. Don't you see where the divisiveness has already taken place? How is this action going to be divisive? So instead, the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, in a letter to GOP colleagues, listed 4 potential responses to the January 6th attack. McCarthy, citing feedback from members, floated the possibility of a, quote, resolution of censure under the rules of the House, as well as a bipartisan commission to investigate riots according to the letter. He did not specify who would be censored, though. That's how that thing go, right? We just give a general statement and say we're looking into it and going to do some censoring. So the freedom fighters are around, but they're just being oppressed every time they try to stand up for the less fortunate. Okay, so this can be the argument of the people who rolled up last week on the Capitol building, that they're the freedom fighters and the less fortunate is the man who the presidency was stolen from in this election. Right. Crickets. That's what I expected to hear. Absolutely nothing. People's jaws hitting the floor because that just sounds crazy. So, McCarthy also proposed overhauling the Electoral Count Act of 1887, which guides the electoral certification process, as well as legislation to promote voter confidence in future legislation. What these latter 2 issues have to do with the attack, other than the lies that stemmed from GOP lawmakers during the certification process and as it relates to non-existent widespread voter fraud, is unclear. So, again, just tossing some things out there to people as what? Distractions? Because this whole sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors thing is something that politicians use all over. But in the US, they seem to be masters at it. Speaking on our call with House Republicans on Monday, McCarthy indicated to his colleagues that Trump bore some of the blame for the riot, and that Trump acknowledged to McCarthy that he bore some of the blame for the riot, according to a person familiar with the call. Okay, was that person eavesdropping? Who is this person that was familiar with the call? Still, McCarthy said he was opposed to impeachment, instead proposing his proposed alternatives and suggesting there should be a bipartisan commission to get all the facts first instead, according to a source on the call. So, which facts exactly need to be had when you address the nation and tell people, yo, roll up in this? You know, you on a recorded call, you're going to, on a recorded line, you're going to call up the governor of a state and tell them, yo, I need X amount of votes, you need to find them. How does that work? And we need to get all the facts first. What more facts do we need? Or maybe the question is, who needs these facts? Who is it that is such a doubting Thomas that they need more proof? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the call with House Democrats Monday called the idea of censoring Trump an abdication and made it clear it is not an option she's willing to consider. According to a person who was on the call. I don't know how many people were on this call, why persons on the call or a person on the call always have something to say, but nobody can tell me who this person on the call is. Anyway, Pelosi told House Democrats on Sunday evening that the House would vote on impeachment this week unless Pence moves to invoke the 25th Amendment with a majority of the cabinet to remove Trump from power. The level of unity in the Democratic caucus is being driven by the visceral reaction to what happened on January 6th, when lawmakers had to be evacuated from the House and Senate chambers with rioters banging on the chambers' doors, and the insurrectionists tried to stop the counting of votes to affirm President-elect Joe Biden would become president on January 20. 5 people were killed, including a U.S. Capitol Police officer. Still, House Democrats' race towards impeachment process poses complications for the incoming Biden administration as a Senate trial threatens to hamper the opening days of Biden's presidency. All right, listen. Let's go back to this part about the whole alternatives to this impeachment thing. Is this an attempt of the Republican Party or by the Republican Party to save face? Because a president being impeached twice has never happened during the reign of presidency. One term of presidency. It hasn't happened in U.S. history. But it's a first time for everything, right? So, is it to prevent that from happening? Is it to prevent it from happening with someone representing the Republican Party? What is... Because to sit in your position and say, you know, whatever it is that the president did, you know, it wasn't that bad. You know, you're making a big deal out of it. It wasn't that big of a deal. You know, we can look at this differently. Let's get all the facts in first, regardless of what he may have done to incite this rioting. Let's get the rest of the facts in. You know, the whole vote, the way we vote and the way the votes are counted, and you know, let's address some of that in the mix. Okay, why? We can address that as on an ongoing basis, and it probably does need to get addressed, and should be reviewed and revised as we go along. Because things have changed over time. But what does that have to do? Again, what does that have to do with him paying or being held accountable for his action as president in this whole thing? The man incited a whole group of people to march on the Capitol building. He incited them to break the law. So what is the future of 2021 looking like when it is started out by a president saying to people of a nation, let's go ahead and break the law? How is it going to look for the rest of the year? It's not that because he's no longer president, it means that these people, they will change their minds. they're not going to change their positions because apparently they've held this position for however long if they're still marching around with Confederate flags. I saw a news report today that talked about how the black people are left to clean up the mess left by these white people, causing damage and destruction. And it was literally the case. Because the workers who were cleaning up the physical mess, they were black. Now, did the news agency only focus and feature the black workers? I don't know. Surely there had to be some other people up in there. Some Asians, some Hispanics, some white. There had to be some other ethnic groups that were represented on the cleanup crew. But one thing is for sure. It was a quote-unquote minority group that was left cleaning up the mess. And we need to be mindful of that. So here we have a nation divided still. This country has not united yet. So the whole United States of America, the united part is to address what exactly? Because if we look at what happened last week, the only thing unified there was that group that went there to wreak havoc and destruction on federal property. And do take note, typically when there's rioting going on, as we saw this past summer, the ones looting and destroying property weren't the ones who were protesting. If you don't understand what I'm saying, when you had groups of individuals protesting deaths of black people, the George Floyd protest, and the rest of protests. Let me not get into calling names because they're just out of my head right now. When they were protesting, they were busy protesting. They weren't busy destroying property and looting. Look at the footage. You check it out. When they were protesting, they weren't going in killing people who were protesting. The ones that did that were not the people of color. Because people of color walking around with an assault rifle, they get noticed. They're not exercising their right to bear arms. They're being terroristic. So we all recognize that there are disparities in how our people get treated. So where is the united in the United States at this point? For years, the Electoral College has been an issue in elections. This is how he got elected in 2016. Now that the same process got someone else elected, all of a sudden the system is flawed and needs to be fixed. Thank you for that comment in the stew pot. But isn't that typically how it goes? We get upset when things don't go our way. Then we pick up our marbles and we go home, or we grab our ball and nobody can play the game anymore. Because the rules of the game need to be beneficial to me if I am losing. I should be able to make up the rules as I go along, because what currently exists doesn't help me. Now, this, in my opinion, this last election is evidence of those who did not vote coming out to vote versus more people, less people voting. In my opinion, I may be wrong. Honestly, I did not look at the numbers. So, if more people came out and actually voted and it was such a tight race, then clearly, if people were voting people and not issues, and people are up in arms about Trump not winning the elections, then what is their agenda? They want Trump to win, to be the president of the United States because he disregards certain cultures as being equal. Is that it? And you're looking for an excuse to hold yourself superior over another race or another group of individuals? What is your agenda? So you're rioting, you are destroying federal buildings, you are protesting, you are being a part of this revolution. For what? What are you revolting against? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to put in place? And for whose benefit? When you are comfortable with other people or minorities doing your dirty work, but you don't want them to be compensated for it. You don't want them to become rich of your dirty work when you're just making a mess and staying poor. That's the irony in it of it all. Because people of minor ethnic groups, quote unquote minor, because I don't see anybody as being minor to anybody else. If me as a black man, if I need an organ transplant and that organ is coming from a white man, that is going to mean that the organ won't work. I am yet to find someone refusing an organ because, well, after they have received it and it is functioning fine, if they find out that it comes from someone of another race, for them to say they don't want it. Maybe there are some people out there that say, I will rather die than to receive the kidney from a black man if they're white, or if they're Asian, or if they're Indian, or whatever. Or vice versa. Because I want to live. So, what is the revolt about? I guess it's because we are yet to come to the place in our minds where we understand that what we see on the outside is just that. What is on the outside. And it doesn't make a difference as to who we are as individuals. Because if you were blind, you wouldn't know the difference. We all sound alike at the end of the day. There are a bunch of white people and Chinese people and Indian people that sound just like me when I talk. So those of you who have never seen a picture of me, I guess because I'm Jamaican, you'd expect to see a black man. But I have friends I can call up. And you talk to them and they sound just like me. And when you see their pictures, they don't look like me. So you have what to say at that point? Right. And that is what takes us back to those questions. The ones that circulate around, what is this for? Is it to meet the personal needs of someone that you idolize? Or is it to really be beneficial to this country? And as a result, cementing a place in the world to say, yes, this is what the world should be like, because we're all encompassing, we are united, we are powerful in coming to a resolution. That has not been demonstrated anywhere here. So the greatness of the United States, the law-abiding United States, and the oh-so-righteous United States is where. And remember, I live here. So I have to deal with it also. My children are born here. This country wasn't just built by Caucasians that went into the fields and laid down the railroad tracks. Right. Forgot about that part. That is where you get the united part. The problem is, everybody wasn't on the same page. Everybody wasn't willingly going about making this country what it is today. Some groups were forced. That's funny, 644. 644 says, I spoke to an individual for 2 years before meeting them in person. When I introduced myself, this white person's response was, "Oh, you're black." Yeah, that's what we'll deal with. And that's why we have to ask the question, what kind of world we're living in? What kind of United States is this? That's a classic response right there. So the response to the "oh, you're black" question or the "oh, you're black" statement, the response to that was, "Oh my goodness, I am?" That's funny. Thank you for sharing that, 644. Music from the Anthem Reggae Band. Question, what kind of world are we living in?
The fuss and fight, the youth them just a war and them a lose them life. should have tried with the youth them a future before it's too late. Before the violence that broke out like cancer, better than go try find the answer. Look how much people get slaughtered, and still yet them don't know the father. What kind of world are we living in? Pure violence and crime. What kind of world are we living in? Too much killing all the time. What kind of world are we living in? Pure violence and crime. What kind of world are we living in? You them a lose them mind. What kind of world? Say what kind of world? Oh, what kind of world are we living in? What kind of world are we living in? Pure violence and crime. What kind of world are we living in? Too much killing all the time. When them a got tired of the fuss and fight, the youth them just a war and them a lose them life.
At what point in time
A little hustle and go put on the gun.
that they change their perspectives and do things a little bit differently?
We show them a get charged.
When do we stop segregating from each other?
And them no care about no one sister. What kind of world? Yeah.
This is the sound of Cesar. His rendition of U2's One.
Is it getting better? Do you feel the same? Will it make it easier on you now? You've got someone to blame. Well, it's one love, one life, it's one need.
at the end of the day, you know, we need to recognize that we're one. So as we look forward into 2021, how do we see it? Is it a smooth sailing coming? Or are we just trapped in our own little prison? Is that smooth sailing that we're hoping for just an illusion? Is there any way that we can live that utopian life?
Yeah.
This is Nikki Blaze.
I see them love.
It's called Lost in Illusion.
I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in delusion. And now they reside in the state of confusion. Why is it that my race remains poor? My race sitting on the jail floors. My race fighting to knock down doors. Same race they stole from across the shore. My race that built this great nation, still trapped on my plantation. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them.
10 minutes to the top of the hour.
I see them love.
10 minutes before I roll on out of here.
Lost in delusion.
Broadcast continues on One Harmony Radio, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com,
down in Darfur,
Island Worldwide Radio,
crying out for murder, hunger,
WGLRO,
and help one another. It only takes but one to start a revolution. Please don't play into the
I'm back tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on kevinstew.com. Tomorrow is Healthy Love Night.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, yeah. Oh, I see them lost.
Let's see if we can
I see them
encourage people to be woke.
Oh, I see them running. Oh, my people lost. Oh, my people lost, yeah.
Help them to find their way.
I wanna tell you to you now. Oh, I see them lost. Lost in illusion, yeah. I see them lost. Oh, lost in delusion, yeah. My people, you lost. Oh, I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. Lost in illusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in delusion. And now they reside in a state of confusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. I see them love.
But you know, in the midst of it all, we have to know how we are going to navigate this thing. We can't depend on someone else to navigate our ships for us.
So no matter how bad the situation is that you find yourself in right now, remember, say you're in control. It's up to you, you know? You can choose to stay in that negative situation, that negative environment, or you can just be brave and strong and bold and just walk away from it, you know what I mean? It's up to
Zona Caramanti.
you. You can stop this at any time. It's up to you, up to you. Are your body and are your mind. Alright, so no get distracted with the tricks in my send and the vibes in my bring. When it's all said and done, you in charge, not him. It's another life, you pro you a live. Listen this. I Another night under stress. Him stink from the liquor and the goddamn cess. Your man want sleep, but him well want sex. Plus your body in a pain from the leaks where you get.
Hey yo, this is Caraman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
So no matter how bad the situation is that you find yourself in right now, remember say you're in control. It's up to you, you know? You can choose to stay in that negative situation, that negative environment.
6 minutes to go.
Just be brave and strong and bold and just walk away from it, you know what I mean?
How do we want to navigate this thing that we call our lives?
Anytime it's up to you, up to you. I your body and I your mind. Alright, so no get distracted with the tricks in my send and the vibes in my bring. When it's all said and done, you in charge, not him. This another life, you pro you a live. Listen this. Another night under stress. Him stink from the liquor and the goddamn cess. Your man want sleep, but him well want sex. Plus your body in a pain from the leaks where you get. But you're afraid cause you know how him flex. If you no let off him, we beat you to death. So you decide alright, then you go spread your legs. But you're still nervous, no one make the wrong step. Hey, question yo, stop and check. You're not happy, so what kind of sense this make? I one place this I lead, don't I make the rest. So take me advice right now. It's up to you, up to you. You can start this at any time. It's up to you, up to you. I your body and I your mind. Alright, so no get distracted with the tricks in my send and the vibes in my bring. When it's all said and done, you in charge, not him. This another life, you pro you a live. Listen this, rotted when you're in a public. You can't disagree or act outlandish. Cause you know him ladies more like him kid. If you no fall in line, you guarantee a fat lip. This and this part is this. No one knows cause you never talk it. We put on a show like everything Chris, but you're dying inside and you're physically sick. My girl, yo, please answer this. What is your plan? What's your objective? If I love you, I seek, mommy, this is not it. So take me advice right now. It's up to you, up to you. You can start this at any time. It's up to you, up to you.
You know, if we look at the way we live in our home countries,
so don't get distracted with the tricks in my send and the vibes in my bring.
If we look at it as a relationship with a partner, an abusive partner,
make we pray.
Does it look like what is happening in the US now?
Only you know why this woman stay and only you can convince her.
Yeah, an abusive relationship. And what is happening right now?
Where she fears she a face every day.
Do they look familiar?
Mental state.
Do they look similar?
Enough so she settle for the game. But oh God, please help me explain that anyone will hurt.
Right, think about it.
And if she not feel, she recycle the pain. But I talk me attack at the end of the day. It's up to you, up to you. You can stop this at any time.
I want to thank you each and everyone for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your comments. I'm back here again, like I said, tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's Healthy Love Night, and we know a whole lot more stuff going on when it comes to our health. This whole vaccine thing, a new strain of the virus, and still not enough information to go to convince me that what is going on is as dangerous as it is led on to be. Because even with new cases coming up every day and new deaths, it is still not being mentioned about the recoveries. What's at the end of the day?
Can you feel it now?
Let's see if we can get some love going, yeah?
Raise that peace flag up high.
So Healthy Love tomorrow. And tonight's Community and Finance, we close out with Shelly Sweet Shells. She says, Love We Need. That's the title of this track. This is how I leave you for tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, good night.
Can you feel it now? but hate is all we breathe. Hear the mothers cry, please just tell me why. There's so much crime, hearts are hurting, children suffering. Do you ever stop and wonder when it's gonna rain? Do you ever stop and say, will we all be friends? Old days children up in the streets, people hear me. Now they gotta be careful who they meet. I'm realizing love we need today, love we need at rate. Love is all we need, but hate is all we breathe. Hear the mothers cry, please just tell me why. Why there's so much crime, hearts are hurting, children suffering. Do you ever stop and wonder when it's gonna rain? Do you ever stop and say, will we all be friends? Hear the
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.